Come and dream with me.
Hello and welcome to What Do You Want to Watch, Explosion Network's premium video podcast. Every week we get together to talk about movies, TV and online content and help you answer the question, how difficult must it be to give spoiler-free thoughts about something you hate? I'm your host, Ash Obley. Join me today, Dylan Blight.
I only here to talk about things I love. And what I love is my Blu-rays that I'm going to show you that I purchased. Firstly, we've got the Substance.
Finally, the segment's come back.
It's been a while. And honestly, I'm still trying not to spend money currently to pay off bills. But you can't pass up. Sometimes you got the 2-for-1 sale. And then at JB Hi-Fi, so I had to pick up a few there because that's bargain time. That's the time. A few of these came out a while ago. And I held off purchasing them. Waiting for a good time, waiting for a sale. I will note the other part of this, what I'm about to show you, was stuff I brought months and months and months ago because it was from Umbrella pre-orders. Anyway, Substance. Didn't buy the Blu-ray, held off, waited for the 4K. Thank you very much. Drive. Now they just put out Drive in 4K. The Dolby Vision support. Really
That's
keen
crazy.
to do
It's taken so long.
the rewatch. Yeah, so one of my favorite movies. So I'm keen to watch that again, hopefully soon. Anora, obviously another one that's come out a while ago. The Academy Award-winning Explosion Network Award-winning film.
I guess that would have only been released. It came out December, so
No, that only came out like a couple of weeks ago. But
yeah,
it was the Substance and Drive that came out a while ago. These other ones more recent, but it just worked out well. I will note extra scenes, behind the scenes, and interviews. Not a lot, and I haven't chucked this in to have a look yet. But those behind the scenes will be more than fucking 10 minutes that they put on YouTube. And then I got the Brew List, so I can finally watch that as well. You watched this, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, so I'll strap myself in when I've got
We got a good 6-7 hours.
6-7 hours to sit down and watch that. Now the rest, these were Umbrella pre-orders that I haven't actually opened yet, so I can't show any fancy things. But I'll probably.
I mean, we've got video. You can do an unboxing.
Well, yeah, I'll do. Well, no,
you got to do a TikTok.
I'm going to do a TikTok because that's I do it properly, So
Yeah,
but anyway,
fuck this podcast.
Correct. Storm Warning.
Yeah,
I've never watched that before, so
never heard of it.
I think it's Australian, or it was a co-production. I'm going to say he does it. I feel like it was. I could be talking out my ass. Shutter. Not Shutter Island, not to be confused with that, but Shutter, which is a, I think it's Japanese horror film, or was it a Korean horror film? Thai horror collection they put out. I haven't watched any of the movies on here, which is Dorm and Alone, Phobia and Phobia 2, Coming Soon, and Ladderland. I don't know. Apparently, they're all very good. So that's the thing there. And then the last one was The Fall, not to be confused with Anatomy of a Fall, which was an Academy Award-winning film. That was the best joke I could fix. I could think of.
Not to be confused with The Trip.
Yeah, or The Trip. So. Yeah. Anyway, they're my purchases. Yeah,
is that what you were actually doing before we started recording? Go grab those from somewhere.
Yeah. I had to. I forgot where I left. They were downstairs. So I remember. So the thing is, I hadn't done the segment this year. What really? This whole year? That is wild. Yeah. Look, I've said I'm trying to be a good boy and pay off some bills. You know what it's like, Ash. You know what these bills are like. You know what I mean?
Damn bills.
I got these damn credit card debt I'm trying to pay off a bit. So I'm trying to be a good boy. But yeah, so
sometimes you see a deal that's too good.
I buy one get one free is a good deal.
It's a fact.
The numbers literally say free.
It's like can't do better.
I don't know if that's boy math, girl math, however they explain it, but buy one get one free. I said
I think it's just math.
So yeah, there's my purchase. But yeah, I will those umbrella ones I've I'll put on TikToks and show those off. Yeah.
Claim back context. Yes, on today's episode, we'll be talking about what's in watch history, going over some film news, giving this week's top 3, and giving you some thumbs of trailers. Kicking things off on this podcast feed, we've been doing a spoiler cast for season 2 of The Last of Us. We just recorded the season finale episode, which you can go listen to right now somewhere on the feed. Dylan, I know this is against your will, but do you want to just give non-spoilery thoughts on season 2 of The Last of Us?
No.
Okay. I had a good time, you know. I think they definitely pull their punches from the game. You know, for whatever reasons they've decided to do that, but you know, I feel like they didn't go full. They fully committed to making Ellie the character that she was in the game. Whether it's just that she was so beloved in the first one, it's like too hard to push in that direction. It's especially with the story so segmented, which is, you know, issues you've kind of picked up in these last couple episodes going in. But I'm excited for the future of the show. You know, it's left on a really interesting point. You know, the production wise has been fantastic. Supporting cast has been fantastic. You know, Isabella Merced, so really great. Young Zeno, little bits of Caitlin Dever we've seen. I think Bella Ramsey's been pretty good with what she's been given. And yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of fun discussions around the show, and that's all you can really ask for from a show like this. Do you want to?
You know what I just realized? Yeah, I do want to add something. I forgot to check into watching Lilo and Stitch.
That's all you were thinking about that entire time.
Well, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I forgot to check in. I should do that.
I mean, I was going to save it till later, but Dylan, do you want to share your thoughts on Lilo and Stitch, the remake?
How do you know I watched it without checking in?
I'm pretty sure you mentioned. Oh, no, I saw your Instagram story where you're like, the last 10 minutes.
Oh, right.
Crying emoji.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just looking. I was like, what have I watched this week? Other than the Last of Us finale, which was poo. The Lilo and Stitch. This is an interesting movie to me because I actually don't think it's a good movie. However, I think it does this interesting thing where it
wait what do you think it was? I didn't quite catch it.
Not a good movie. It succeeds in earning my connection between Lilo and Stitch is there to the point that the last 10 minutes where spoilers because it's based on anime film before we think we're gonna they're gonna leave, you know, and he's gonna go on the alien ship back home and all that, and then the whole moment, all of that's very emotional, much like it is in the animated film. It earns that. However, I do think it just falls victim to the same things that a lot of these live action things have, which is by attempting to bring things from animation to live action, but then either not fully committing or it just doesn't work in live action. It just ends up with a lot of problems. My biggest example of this, we're getting into full spoiler stuff, is I do not think that Pleakley and Jumba,
yeah.
whatever, Zach Galifianakis and Billy Magnuson. Yeah. I don't think they work at all, and I think Billy's doing he's giving it his all. He's 100% giving his all, and I appreciate that. But that duo just I don't think works at all in this film in the way that they choose to do them by having them play humans in human skin or whatever they do compared to the alien characters wearing the costumes in the bad disguises. I don't think it works anywhere near as well that way. Also, I don't think Bubbles works as well in this either because they choose to change some things about his character. Basically, my point being that a lot of the characters that they choose to bring across from the animation live action but change, I just think it makes them not necessary or feel weird or whatever. And I'm to the point that I'm like, well, that's fine. Maybe just get rid of them. Maybe do your own movie. You know, if you're not going to do them the way that, just get rid of them.
Do you
because they got rid of another character? They got rid of the shark dude. What was that character's name?
Yeah,
whatever that Captain whatever.
I know. I really enjoyed it. I had a good time. Obviously, a heartfelt feeling. You know, all that I didn't mind, so I think if you'd never seen Lilo and Stitch before, you would love this. You would be none the wiser and that kind of stuff. How do you feel about the ending of the movie? Because this is the thing that I've seen post this movie coming out that people have been getting very upset about.
Just the changes they make to Nanny.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't like those either. But I don't know. It's weird because there's one part of my brain that goes like, I get it, but then there's just the part that goes, I watched this movie when I was a kid, and like I know the story, and the nanny I know, like Nani that I know wouldn't. That's not a decision like that would. Yeah, and I feel like you introduced something to this movie solely to have it like make the ending of the movie less emotional, because then you sort of cop it out anyway. Like, you asked me, man. You asked the question.
I know. Yeah, I knew I was going to get frustrated by the end. Dylan, it's a movie about found family.
Yeah,
and people are being upset that the found family helps with the conclusion of the movie. She literally shows up in the start of the movie and goes, "Hey, Nani, remember, we're Ohana." But nobody remembers that at the end of the movie. Frustrating. Look, no, we should all just give our lives and look after our...
Look, this is I'm telling you, listen to what I'm saying. I got emotional with this movie.
Yes.
And I enjoyed the journey.
Yes.
And I enjoyed being along for it, and I got emotional towards the end, and nearly had me tearing.
So it did its job.
I think it's a badly made movie. These are both statements that can coexist. Thank you.
I don't know.
I would remove Zach Galifianakis at a fucking flick of my wrist if I could,
I think he's miscast. I think they should have found somebody else.
Just completely feels out of, not from the same movie set. Right. I don't know if he was trying.
I can't argue with that. As much as I enjoy the film. All right. Dylan, let's talk about something I'm hoping that you enjoyed. You went and saw a big movie release for this week. What is the title again?
Bring Her Back, I think is.
Bring Her Back. Directed by the Philippou brothers.
Yeah.
Probably the most famous Australian directors going around right now.
Yeah. I really, really like this. I don't.
Oh, thank God.
Well, see, the difference between this and Lilo and Stitch
is
this movie is about depression and trauma. So this movie, because I think the trailers don't really give you a good idea of what the film's about. So it's about a brother sister who. So it's a stepbrother scenario where it's like the dad. So dad has a son called Billy or whatever. And then marries this other woman. Got a daughter named Piper. So and then I don't know what happens there. I can't remember if they ever explain. Anyway, brother sister. The sister's like 90% blind. She can only see sound and shapes, which I think is another interesting thing about this movie. One of the main characters, or the main character actually, is and the actress playing her is, she's partially blind as well in real life, So I think it's just I can't say I've ever watched a movie with that as a lead role. So which becomes important as we move forward, because the movie starts, their dad dies. They find him in the shower, fallen over, knocked his head, dead. They don't really explain what happened to him. You don't need to either way. Blood everywhere from when he hit his head, and the sort of vomit coming out his face is like he's had a fucking heart attack or something. I don't know. So then they get adopted by this woman played by Sally Hawkins, and it becomes very evident very quickly that Sally Hawkins' interest is only in Piper, because Sally Hawkins' character had a daughter who died who was also blind. And straight away you're like, that's a red flag. That seems a bit weird. And she didn't want to adopt Billy. Billy's nearly 18. He could have even chosen, you see a scene with the police earlier or the lady who's helping them, who says the government would like help pay for him to live by himself, like supervised living, because he's like 17 and 3/4 or whatever. But he doesn't want to be separated from his sister. So he says, can you talk to this lady and see if she'll take me too? Because I don't want to be separated from her. I want to like stick together, sort of thing. Yeah. So from there, they end up living with Sally Hawkins' character, and shit gets weird. Yeah. It's it's a movie where you've got these two, the brother sister. They're dealing with the trauma of losing uh, their dad, especially Billy, who you see throughout the film, doesn't want to shower because he's haunted by the vision of his dad there in the shower. Like he's haunted by the vision and the sound of even the rain and stuff like that. Then you've got Laura, Sally Hawkins' character, who she's obviously highly traumatized by the loss of her daughter from the past as well. And you've got all these characters sort of coming together, and it's sort of, what does the trauma do to them? You've also got this mystery kid that she already has at the house called Oliver, who's the one on the posters and the trailers, the bald-headed kid who says nothing, does nothing, but just stands around. It's fucking weird, and there's definitely something off about him. And there is no, without even spoiling it, there is something off with that kid. Yeah, I mean, look, it falls into the category of, I mean, it's A24 horror. It's I would say it's less. I think Talk to Me is probably more of a conventional horror film. It has its good mix of, it has some jokes in it. It's got, it's got more of a teen cast having they're getting drunk and using the hand, and they think it's all fun and games until it goes wrong, which is more of a typical horror movie sort of trope, like drunk kids having a party and then a slasher comes in. It's like in that film the slasher just so happens to be the fucking, they go too far and hold on to the hand and they let the spirits sort of into their real world, and that's where they go too far there. Whereas this film is definitely more of the A24 dread horror genre, I guess, or whatever you want to call it, where it's just a bunch of characters, everyone's depressed and going through shit, and what lengths are they willing to sort of go to it. I really, really enjoyed it. I like the themes and story it told. I think it's, once again, really well shot. I think that the actors they found to play the unknowns that fill all these roles are fantastic, and then you pair them up with someone with high caliber like Sally Hawkins. It's like it's that really good thing where, and this is what I think makes good directors and casting directors as well. And they work with Causeway Films here again, the Australian production company, who would have helped them do all this. But it's like you get all these really good kid actors and you sort of place them. You need like an anchoring adult in the cast to help them, and that's Sally Hawkins. And I think you see what comes through to that. I'm also just continuously shocked that the YouTube channel Rucka Rucka is producing these films. But anyway, that's another, like, what a crazy story those two dudes are going through. Absolutely nothing but it's one of those like success stories that you could just be like, anyone can achieve their dreams. Like the dudes who got pulled over by the cops for filling up the car with water, they're now producing, like, good shit. Anyway, yeah, highly recommend it. It was really, really good.
All right.
Also, when I went to the cinema, I wore my Talk to Me shirt. There was another dude wearing a Talk to Me shirt. Shout out to that guy.
Yeah, a lot of people there, or big?
No, maybe like 30-ish.
It's pretty good.
Decent amount for like the middle of the movie, and a Monday night, like, advanced screening for it, which is
yeah. So, bring me back in Australian cinemas this week. So I watched the new film that came to Apple TV Plus, Fountain of Youth, starring John Krasinski and Natalie Portman as siblings who were raised as treasure hunters. Natalie Portman's character has got married, had a family, stopped from the old life, but she's dragged back into it by her brother, who
she brought her back.
He brought her back into the life to help him find the Fountain of Youth. Also stars Donald Gleason as like the financier behind his team of people try and track down the Fountain of Youth. You also got Isa Gonzalez as she's a member of the Keepers, who are people who try to protect like hidden treasures around the world. Is trying to stop him from trying to find the Fountain of Youth. And then you've got Aryan Moad, who's the head of Interpol, or Interpol inspector, is trying to catch him because he's been stealing all these priceless artifacts, like a bunch of paintings and that kind of stuff. Obviously, we watched the trailer a few weeks ago. You were not impressed.
No.
You're right. It's kind of meandering, kind of nothing movie. That is very much reliant on its stars adding personality to the characters because the plot is just kind of there. Everybody's motivations look there. It's not terribly action filled. I think John Krasinski adds a lot to the comedy value of it. But other than that, I mean, it's just something attempting to be a Indiana Jones or a Thomas Crown Heist or those kind of trying to get that kind of vibe modern day, and it doesn't quite hit that feeling. There's a couple of twists and turns.
Do you think it's weird how I think Apple's like become really known for their like high caliber TV shows, and I think we would both agree they do that, but their films are just duds usually.
I mean, they've got F1 coming up.
No, I'm talking their because obviously they also finance like Kills of
Academy Award winning
and stuff like that.
Purchase.
I'm talking about that. I'm talking about their straight to Apple TV Plus films. They are. I'm telling you now, if you bring up this, I'm going to say 90% duds.
Let's see. I don't know if I can find a list real quick.
I'll fucking find one.
Here we go.
Wikipedia. Come on then. What are you doing?
This year we have The Gorge.
Mm-hmm. Avo.
Last year, Argyle.
Yep,
Fancy Dance. Nobody saw.
Didn't watch it. Yep.
Fly Me to the Moon. I enjoyed.
That went to
Wolves.
So that doesn't count. Everyone hated that.
Blitz.
Yep, people hated that too.
Year before that, we had Tetris.
Yep. So
Ghosted.
Good. Yep, people love that.
Still a Michael J. Fox movie. That was good.
Yeah,
The Beanie Bubble.
No, that was that bad.
Flora and Son, I enjoyed. Killers of the Flower Moon.
That doesn't count. They went to cinemas.
Napoleon.
Straight to streaming.
Oh, does Napoleon not count because it goes?
No, they went to streaming. They went to cinemas first.
The Family Plan.
Everyone hated that.
They did the Tragedy of Macbeth, but I'm sure you don't think that counts.
No, I'm talking about like because these ones that kills fun.
Spirited. I mean, all their best ones go to cinema because they're like, yeah,
but they're not full. The thing about those to me, I'm like, they're the ones that they sort of help finance. And like, you're telling me the Apple producers are on the set of the Killers of Flower Moon. No, just chuck some money to Martin Scorsese's way and got that film after the point.
Yeah, but they gave them the money, so you get the credit.
Don't be protecting these shitty Apple TV Plus movies.
They've released a bunch of good stuff.
90% of that list was trash.
But they've got good stuff coming up. They're behind the Matchbox movie. They financed the Echo Valley movie I talked about. They got the Bono documentary coming out, I think, this week. In F1.
Again, fucking F1 doesn't get, and it's not out, and it could be shit.
Oh, that's fair.
Like, I don't think it will be, but could be.
All right. Yeah. All right. This week, Dylan, was a big week for finales. Obviously, we talked about The Last of Us, but you watched the finale for The Rehearsal. Which episode was it?
6. Fucking, that makes sense, doesn't it? It does make sense. I'm gonna spoil this because I cannot not talk about it. This is the most insane thing I've ever watched in my life. So, and honestly, I don't think spoiling it even would ruin it. It's just going to make anyone listening more intrigued and this is what I'm going to say. The Rehearsal is the hardest show to tell people about and get people into watching. And we've tried to talk about this show so many times. Yep. It's the hardest fucking show to talk about. And my journey of this show was, I think episodes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Love, 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 love. All good. 5. I was like, where are we going with this? Like, I was like, that was fine, but I wasn't like, as far as like the penultimate episode of the season, like, I wasn't quite sure.
Man, I'm sure it would suck if you thought that was the finale.
Yeah, would have really. Yeah, imagine that. I was like, where are we going with this show? So the whole story of this season has been, as we discussed previously when we talked about the opener, because you only watched what, 1 or 2
I've only
episodes
watched the
this
first 2, which we
Yeah,
talked
so the
about.
whole-
Yes.
Yeah, the whole season, the whole story of this season rehearsal is basically Nathan Fielder's like, hey, first pilots, captains, what are they called? First pilots, they don't talk to their captains in the cockpit of a plane, which causes plane issues because they're too afraid to take over. And as the show continues, he brings up other issues like how basically pilots are afraid to talk about their feelings. That if they have anxiety or depression, they don't want to go to a doctor because you can get your pilot's license revoked for like the flick of a switch sort of thing. Anyway, I click play on episode 6, and about 5 minutes in, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe we're doing this. Like, this is the most insane fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. So it starts, and I can't remember, like, the first 5 minutes starts of the episode, whatever. And then flashes up and goes 2 years earlier, and my man's studying to get a pilot's license. It is. And I was, I'm put this. So 40 minutes, because it's an hour long or whatever, 40 minutes up, down, just he starts, he's doing training, he's getting his, like, flying the little planes you start or whatever. And as it progresses, it has all these pictures. He's like, then I got this, then I passed my test for this, and has all these pictures. He's like, then I passed my test for this, I passed my test for this. So then he's like, well, I need to be able to fly a 7-1 whatever, like the normal commercial plane, right?
Yeah.
Because that's the whole thing that the show's about. And as he's talking to old mate Dole Dude, he talks about Congress too early in the episode, he's like, yeah, but to get that you need 1,500 hours of flying and all these other things you need to pass, and then you can't fly. And then Nathan feels like, yeah, but if I do this, I should be able to get that. And he's like, yeah, but you're still not allowed to fly with real civilians in the plane. And of course, then he goes, well, what if I filled the plane with actors? So, it is insane. He rents a fucking bus because he covers how no one would rent him a plane because it's insanity, right? And this is what I'm saying. I have no idea how I would love to know how HBO passed off on this, because this episode ends, and I'm not going to spoil how it all wraps up because it is fucking art. And all I'm going to say also is someone plays a fucking song at the end of this episode and wins that competition. That is in the last 5 minutes. So that person can go eat a fuck, because there is a winner of the competition, and they may or may not sing Evanescence's Bring Her Back, which is just perfection. Everything comes full circle. But he fucking flies this plane with 150 actors who all agree to come on it, even though he's never flown a fucking commercial plane before. And he gets a dude to be his first. The dude he picks is a dude who pitched to him. He's one of the judges on the reality, the singing competition show, who in the middle of the show was trying to pitch to him how he wants to get his own TV show made about flying. So in the VO, he says, I'm going to go pick this dude because this dude probably won't want to tell me how he really feels, because he probably thinks if he pisses me off, I'm not going to help him get his TV show made. Because he's like going for the whole point is like, he can't, like, he wants him to have the friction. And there's a fucking point where he's flying the plane, and I'm going to tell you, like, even with telling us, it was the most anxiety-inducing thing of it. Like, I'm sitting there, like, throat in my, like, Nathan Fielder's about to kill 150 people. Like, what are we?
Were you like checking Twitter, checking like Google? Is Nathan Fielder alive?
Well, that's why I'm like, that's the thing, because you would have heard about it, but you get like when you're watching it, it's still like fucking hell. Like, but they have a fucking plane that's flying around filming them, like filming the plane for the show, and they pointed out. Like he says, hey, if everyone looks out the left of the plane, don't be afraid. There is a plane quite close to us, but don't be afraid. It's just someone shooting. They're filming video of this plane for the HBO series. But then the fucking other dude, and this is the perfect moment that proves the point. The other dude, you can tell, is getting very anxious about how close this plane is, and spends forever not wanting to say anything until Nathan like sort of starts pushing him, and you can tell he's very uncomfortable with how close this other plane is. But he doesn't want to say anything because he doesn't want to piss off. It is
the pilot, yeah. Oh, jeez.
It is it's and I haven't even said the final sentence that he wraps the show on with, like he says one line that just encapsulates the because it is that thing, like how do you end a show like this? It's always like he has one sentence that ends the episode, and it is the most, like, I don't know, I can't, like, as I'm saying, I was like, this is good. Episode 5, I was this, anyway, the best show of the year. There you go, watch this.
Wow, best show of the year.
Yeah, I'd put it like wrapping it up with the way I think now looking
as a whole.
I don't it is like looking back and thinking about like the whole 6 episodes and just like how he's managed to tell this specific, very weird, but very specific issue. And but the thing is, it's a very specific issue, but also says a lot about the human condition. Because he also points out how people like he must have hopped in a bunch of Ubers, because he has a whole bunch of like secret cam shots where he's like filming people in Ubers on their phones, and like talks about how you don't want to say anything when you're like in the Uber because you don't want to piss off the person, even though you might be thinking, hey, could you get off your fucking phone, because you might call, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I don't know. It was that insanely what he gets his, I don't know, the man flies a plane. I don't know what else to tell you. Like, it is fucking insane. You see him filling out a fucking like pilot's license renewal thing, writing in who's your employee, what do you do, and he's like comedian, HBO. Like, like what are we doing here?
I will say that sold me on finishing up. So,
it's insane. Also, the fact that to get your license to fly the big jumbos or whatever, he goes in and they've like a really fancy like virtual reality simulator sort of like thing, you hop the simulator thing, and he's like, so like this is it, like people just go straight from this to find the planes, and the instructor's like, yeah, but you don't like find any real planes. He's like, no. And then it's like, so people just go from, now of course they have more flying hours than he does, normally when people do it, usually you got to have 1500 or whatever. He's like bypassing it by not having real civilians on the plane. But like the fact that you would just hop in that and go straight to oh my god, insane. Anyway, yeah, finish it. It's sensational.
Better than the first season?
I think so, because I think this having
a little bit more focus,
which is weird, because as you watch the show, that's what I'm saying, this was my complaint watching it. At times I would feel like I got unfocused, and in retrospect, when you're like, why are we doing like a singing competition? Why are we over here now doing this? Why are we talking about? But in retrospect, I think back to all those little points they touch, and it all comes back to the same like sort of narrative about the human condition of like how we don't talk to each other enough, and we are, I guess, like more open in ways that can. Yeah, it's just looking back, all my issues I don't have by the end of the show, because I'm like, I get it. I see the full picture.
Do you want to see
the point?
3?
Even I fucking don't know. How do you top flying a plane, man? Like, what do you, you know? Like, he's basically Tom Cruise level now. I don't know what else to. He spent 2 years. He spent 2 years getting a fucking several pilot license for a HBO show. Like, what do you? Oh,
he's going to be in the next head of Mission Impossible.
Yeah, insanely. But yes, you should definitely finish it.
Okay,
I would. Yeah, definitely better than season 1. I'd love season 1, but the looking back at the free lines, to the point, the first shot of the first episode, like him looking at the dead people on the ground. Now retroactively, I'm now going, oh, that's like his anxiety about fucking up this thing in the last episode. Like, I'm now sort of going, you know, it's full picture. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I didn't end up. I thought about going to catch up, but I'm like, oh, there's this other show that's having a season finale this week. Maybe I'll go finish that up. So I've finished watching the first season of The Studio.
I nearly caught up. Yeah. I
started
trying to, but
yeah, the Apple TV Plus show about Seth Rogen as a newly appointed head of a Hollywood, film company, production company, Continental Studios. So he is the man behind green lighting and getting movies made. Really fantastic season of television. I think we'd only seen the first 2 episodes from memory.
When we last
there was the Scorsese episode, and there was the Warner episode.
Yeah.
When that first dropped. And And I think it's really interesting watching it that this show is very unserialized. Like a lot of these episodes are very standalone.
Mm.
Like which is very uncommon in today's age where everything is like kind of interconnected. Except for maybe the last couple of episodes where everything kind of the last couple of episodes is set at CinemaCon.
Mm.
So it's showing the slate of movies that we've been seeing throughout the season being presented to a wide audience.
I do think like I'm 6 episodes. No, I'm up to episode 6. Sorry, I finished 5, so I'm like halfway. I will say the through line to me, even though yes, I agree every episode's standalone. The through line is just him, like Seth Rogen's main character, is the continuing struggle for him in this position. Like that is and that's the only through line you need.
That's
You know,
true.
like,
yeah.
yeah.
You know, it's just kind of him being this person who loves film but can't.
Yeah, starts the season being like, I love all these art house films, and films that I would be like, yeah, they're great films, but he ends up making schlock to make money, basically.
Yeah, or like getting involved in schlock and that kind of stuff. Yeah, I thought really fantastic, really great ensemble cast. All the characters around him are really great, and then a lot of the cameos that you get throughout the season, as like people being super game to show up and be like either make fun of themselves or play a heightened version of themselves, or that kind of stuff. Like even like the different directors that come in, like the director of Smile comes into
Yeah, I thought it was very funny when he showed up
to meet about the movie Wink, which is a terrible
just a
rip-off of
remake
Smile.
of his movie. Yeah, but they're asking him to direct it still.
Yeah.
Well, one of the last episodes I watched was the Missing Reel, which has a wild Olivia Wilde in it, which is very funny.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, and like a lot of these episodes have like one they're shot like almost entirely in one, which is freaking crazy. Like,
did you watch any of the? I watched behind the scenes with Seth Rogen talking about that. Like, obviously the one, but he said most episodes they tried to do long takes just to add to like the franticness of it, which works, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy when you have that set up, but then you do one episode, entire one. So. But yeah, it just adds so much tension and that kind of stuff, and like, yeah, really fantastic. I mean, and just really fun takes on stuff throughout the film industry. Obviously, we love film, so we love behind the scenes stuff and all that kind of stuff. So a show based around it and kind of satirizing it a little bit is going to be made for us a little bit. So, yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'm keen for you to see these last few episodes. But there's some great ones already, like the fucking Ron Howard, like him blowing up and that kind of stuff. So, already
I'll
greenlit
fucking
for
kill you. Fucking froze his head off, froze a punch. It's wild.
Yeah, already greenlit for season 2. So very excited to see where they go to next. So yeah, check out the studio on Apple TV Plus. Movies might be missed, but the TV shows,
that's what I'm saying.
High quality. Well, it is called Apple TV Plus, not Apple Movie Plus.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So it makes sense. All right, Dylan, I saw that you watched Mickey 17.
I did finally get around to watching Mickey 17. It was all right. I think my problem with this movie is because not to bang on that too, because it's a bit old now, isn't it? But it just feels the pacing just consistently feels off. I also think doing the flashback thing I hated as well. Just felt unnecessary. Like the whole like starting the film with him being like, and then like let's flash back to see how he got there, sort of thing. But yeah, I think also it nearly feels like there's 3/4 of a film, and then once the other Mickey shows up, it sort of like almost changes to be a different film at that point, and like once they introduce the creatures and stuff, like I don't know, it felt very unfulfilled towards the end of the movie.
It just didn't click.
No, it didn't quite click at all. And by the time you're watching the end of it and you're the way they wrap it up with the story and everything, I was like, okay, but like I don't feel like I got anything out of this, to be completely honest. I feel like when you watch a movie like this and you're like, I feel like I'm supposed to be getting more out of this than I am, because currently I'm getting nothing. You know, I don't really know what I'm supposed to be feeling, because I just feel like I watched a movie, but I feel like the director wants me to feel something more than just that. Like, oh, I just watched a movie. You know, I will say I did enjoy basically everyone in it. Robert Pattinson, I quite enjoyed with his stupid voice. Mark Ruffalo, I enjoyed doing his Donald Trump impression. I actually didn't think it was too over the top. I think the whole movie's silly, so I think him being over the top was fine. And Tony Collette was just matching his energy, I think. So
Yeah.
I had no problem with that. Naomi Aki, I thought was really good as well. So I mean, I enjoyed all the cast and everything like that. And yeah, I watched it. I enjoyed it sort of for what it is, but yeah, it's okay. It's a watch once and forget about. Which, you know what? I'm going to be honest. If you win an Academy Award and your next film is just like a 7 out of 10, it's okay. But I really appreciate. I guess he has like a lot of love for this source book, and he's like, fuck it, I'm going to use my now blank check to make something I really like. Whatever, good for him.
All right, let's move into the mandatory Netflix segment of the show. And Dylan, you've watched some of the recently released Netflix drama Sirens, starring Australia's own Millie Alcock.
I finished it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I watched it all. It's only like 6 episodes, I think, something like that. I don't know. Yeah. So we watched it. I can't remember. I think I said I didn't like the trailer. I don't think I liked the trailer.
One up, one down.
One up, one down. I enjoyed the series more. I think within context. I forgot to check into the finale. There you go.
5 episodes. Crazy.
It's 5 episodes, not 4.
That's a weird, crazy number to have for episodes for a season of television. Oh no, it's a miniseries, so that makes sense.
Now you can see why. So basically, this show is about, and this is the problem. I didn't get all this from trailer, and I think that's why I wasn't quite clicking with it. It starts with Megan Farley, I think. Hold on, I feel like I should check that.
Megan Fahey.
Yep, sure. Yeah, that's it. Really good in the White Lotus season 2. Yeah. Anyway.
Yes.
Stretch of my razor. So she's the older sister of Millie Alcock's character, and she's looking after her father, played by Bill Camp, who's like getting like what's like stuff again, things early onset dementia, I guess, or something along those lines. Looking after her father, and she's struggling, obviously, and shitty job, whatever. She's just she's your average lower class, lower to middle class, average American, I guess, would be the thing. Now, her Millie Alcock character, she's over on a fancy little place several hours away from New York, working for Julia Moore's character, who's married to Kevin Bacon's character, and they're rich, and she's her personal assistant, and everything's perfect here, and she doesn't want to have anything to do with it. Now, basically, flowers turn up on the doorstep in the first episode, saying like, I can't remember if it was like happy birthday or something. It was the most like, I didn't put any thought into this note, with some flowers delivered to Megan Farr's whatever character. And she spits it and sort of goes marching, spends several hours on buses and boats and whatever to get to the island where Millie Alcock's character is, and marches up there and finds out what her sister's doing, which is living in this weird relationship. Straight away she notices her sister, all these tattoos she had that we get told about, she scrubbed them off, and she's like in a very like close, weird relationship with Julianne Moore's character, and she's like, oh, she's my best friend. She's like, can you really be that good of friends with someone who pays your fucking bills? Like all this like sort of stuff. Yeah, and I mean, over the next couple episodes, we dive into this relationship as she hangs around, much to the dismay of Millie Alcock's character, and we dive deep into these characters, including traumatic pasts to them, both the sisters, and what they went through when they were younger that have pushed them into these particular positions, and also Julianne Moore's character, Kevin Bacon's character, like what's working for them, a few other people there as well. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought As far as like it never felt like it overstayed its welcome. I thought it was like a somewhat different study on, I guess the dichotomy of different like class systems within America. At least that's sort of how I took the show anyway. And I thought all the performances was really good, especially from well, Julianne Moore's good, but it's also like saying like Julianne Moore good, if that makes sense. Like she's usually good and she's good here again. And she's been around longer, obviously. Whereas Megan Farley and Millie Alcock, both like younger people, upcoming, a bit more standout. They're both really good, especially Millie Alcock, who's um, obviously really good in House of Dragon. But I think outside that, a lot of people wouldn't have seen her much, and she's going to be a bit of a bigger name when she plays Supergirl. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I would recommend.
All right. You also watched the about to be released series Department Q.
So this is based on a book series I found out. I think it was Danish. And they turned them all into a bunch of movies over there. Danish films. And they've sort of moved the character to Edinburgh. It's Ireland now for this series. So it follows the story of Carl something, I can't remember, played by Matthew Good, who is he's a detective who in the first episode, him and his partner, like they investigate his house and they both get shot, left for dead. His partner ends up losing the use of his legs, whereas Matthew Good's character manages to come out not unscathed, but he fully recovers. And you find out later in the series that big reason of that is because the bullet that hit him went through his partner first and like slowed down before he hit him. So he plays a very good into the genre of shitty, really annoying, yelling at everyone, I hate everyone around me cops, which is I think a UK genre of cop shows, but I quite enjoy because he just smart ass remarks to everyone, backhands everyone, like yeah. But it's a combination of his personality, you can gather, combined with the fact he has a lot of unresolved trauma from what went through him. So his captain, I guess, who in the ends up sort of burying him when he comes back to work, says, Go down to the bottom level of the precinct building. You're going to set up a new department there and look into cold cases, more or less. And the first one they end up investigating is this woman who went missing, I think like 4 years earlier. And we it's not like hidden, it starts flashing backwards and forwards, but we know as the audience that yes, she is still alive and she's actually being held captive in I can't remember the official name, but it's like a decompression chamber, like coming out of like deep sea dives and stuff like that they would use on boats, I guess. But yeah, so she's being held in one of those. We never see her captors, but we know that it's revealed that she's still alive. And throughout the season, we sort of cut backwards and forwards. And we also see flashbacks to her past as well, as she's attempting to piece together who's kidnapped her, while the Matthew Good's character, paired with a new partner who's not actually officially a police officer, are attempting to piece together the case in real time at the same time. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think Matthew Good is good, and the rest of the card is the rest of the cast is quite good as well. I enjoyed the mystery. I thought it was well paced out, written, and definitely not like something I'd sort of seen before in a genre that's obviously quite crowd and everything. And I think also the relationships as they build. The first half of the season they don't start to, and I guess it just makes sense because he's a character who doesn't want to, like he's someone who's very standoffish, so you don't see him start building more relationships towards the last couple of episodes. But when he starts getting to know his what will be his like partner now, I think he's come over from Serbia, I think is where he's from. Like, but
I believe so.
you start finding out in the last couple episodes like what he was going through in his Syria. They were start finding out what he was going through in his own country, like that made him move and sort of escape, and yet they tease out some of that sort of information. You start seeing him interact with his partner who's in the hospital some more, and then by the end of the season, I think you get to see this new sort of like proper fully formed division after they sort of solve their first case together. That I can like see the picture of how we would get to 7 books or whatever as they're solving different cases. And yeah, after finishing the first season, I'm like, yeah, I'd happily, what's the next mystery? Take me on another journey, sort of thing. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
All right. And then finally, you watched the documentary series Cold Case: The Tylenol Murders.
Yeah. So apparently I didn't know anything about this, which is wild. Did you know about this? Am I just oblivious to like certain events in
I
history?
probably won't know until you start describing the story.
Well, it's in the description, so that these people. Well, that's the thing about documentary, I guess, that we don't actually know. But these people were buying Tylenol in America, which is it's like a pain medication, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was laced with what's in that? Whatever the cyanide. It was laced with cyanide.
No, I don't think I heard about this.
Yeah, which is wild, isn't it? Like you would think this is something so, and not like from specific. They were just going into their regular supermarket or whatever, buying like we would, like I guess paracetamol, Nurofen, what have you.
Mhm.
Going home, popping some because I got a headache or whatever. Couple seconds later, dead because it was fucking laced with cyanide. Insane to me that this is something that happened. Yeah, the series interviews police that were involved at the time, people that were working for the company that created the Tylenol drug, and things like that. It also, I guess, most interesting, has interviews, the last interviews with the person that everyone thinks did it, who did go to jail, but not because he was found guilty of doing this particular thing, but because he was found guilty of fraud for something else, which apparently the cops took as similar to getting Al Capone. They believed this guy 100% did it, but couldn't prove it, but we're happy to get him on something to put him away. But yeah, this is his last interviews because shortly after, about 6-7 months from what I gathered after they would have filmed this, he died. So, and in this, he denies having anything to do with it. There are interviews of people who say that there's no way he done it, like cops and other people who were like, this guy's like the cops are just so deers and headlight on this guy. It can't be him and stuff. But so look, as a series, it's like not great because it doesn't it doesn't give you a lot of I don't feel like I got any resolution into anything, but I guess neither do a lot of the victims of the families and stuff. I mean, they have a woman in this who doesn't believe it's this guy that everyone thinks it is, and she's the daughter of this one of the people that died from taking the drug and stuff. But I mean, it's still interesting for something I knew absolutely nothing about, which is insane because I feel like this is something I would have heard about before. But how little we hear about certain things that happened in the I think it was like mid early 80s in America. But yeah, just not something I'd ever heard about, to be completely honest. So wild. But I mean, apparently literally is just taking the pills out, and how have they done it? Just put some cyanide in there and just done back and put them on the shelf.
Crazy.
They didn't give them they weren't targeted people. They were just whoever gets these.
All right. That's everything in our watch history. Let's move on to some film news. And the big news this week, Cannes Film Festival took place. There were a bunch of winners. We're going to discuss the Cannes with this week's top 3.
Definitely in the top 3.
This week's top 3 is top 3 films we're excited to see from Cannes. Dylan, what's number 3?
I feel like I'd done this before, but was I picking things I was most excited to see at Cannes?
No, we picked wildcard entries for the fantasy game.
Right, that's what it was.
Yes.
Okay, that makes more sense. Right, so number 3, I'm going with the that's why this is something. I'm going with the Richard Linklater movie, the I don't know how. Novella Vague.
Mm.
If I'm horribly pronouncing, I don't know. But yeah, it's the film that follows Jean-Luc Godard, the film critic, and Jean Seberg and fucking bunch of other people. But basically, it's the true life story of a bunch of the big names in the French New Wave cinema movement, as told by Richard Linklater, making his first non-English speaking film. And I saw a video of Quentin Tarantino really loving it and cheering for it. So
That's enough. That's all you need to do.
I saw like Richard he was like walking up the stairs and Tarantino just grabbing his arm, being like, "So good, so good." You could tell he was just like, "So good." But it's also 100% the type of movie that Tarantino would love. Like it's a film about cinema. So.
My number 3 is The Mastermind by Kelly Reichardt. No, not Kelly. Kelly Reichardt. Obviously a filmmaker that is regularly mentioned in the same breath as Khan. Like a lot of her films end up being presented here. This one is stars what's his name? Josh O'Connor, who I think it's set in the 1970s, and he steals a bunch of paintings, and it's like follows him post that and the ramifications of that. Also starring Alana Haim and John Magaro, Bill Camp. Lots of good names. I haven't seen a lot of Reichardt stuff. I think the only one I've seen is First Cow, which was a movie that we got in crazy hype about.
Also about a year after it released, I feel.
Yeah, because it took forever to get here because of reasons. So yeah, I heard good things, good reviews. So that is my number 3. Then what's number 2?
Die, My Love, the Lynn Ramsey film.
Interesting.
Jennifer Lawrence, Robert Pattinson. I was already keen for this, but I mean, the reviews I'd seen basically say it's 2 hours of people being depressed and anxiety-inducing dive into a woman's madness about her mental health going down the drain as she goes through a breakup, which sounds great to me. So, also everyone's saying that Jennifer Lawrence is potential Academy Award worthy, at least nominated for this. So,
all right,
praise is coming out.
My number 2 is Highest to Lowest, which is the latest film from Spike Lee and his latest collaboration with Denzel Washington. Denzel Washington plays a music executive he believes his son's been kidnapped by people, but it turns out it's his, I think, assistant son or something like that. And then he has to decide if he's going to, treat this boy the same way he was going to treat his son. Is the gist of the film, from what I've heard. Really well reviewed. People are calling it a fantastic thriller. Sounds really cool. So it's been a while since a Spike Lee joint. So keen for this one. So your 2 picks so far are the films that you picked for the fantasy game.
I knew this is why I felt like I'd done this list before. I fucking put the list together and was like, I feel like I've created.
So that raises the question: what is your number 1?
It was just an accident that I did that list.
What, putting those 2 in that order on this list? Yeah,
the exact same order.
I mean, I don't think it was that order, but your 2 picks were 2 and 3. So
what can I say? Films look good. How do you expect me to pick different? So I'm going with the winner. It was the winner, right?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Won the Palme d'Or.
Palme d'Or, Iranian film that's sort of not, which I guess is what I've been reading up about.
It's Iranian, but the government doesn't know it's or didn't know it was being made. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a cross production. The Jafar Pani, who's has been highly vocal about his non-support of the Iranian government, was even locked up in prison for it. So sort of filmed this movie without the Iranian government's permission. To be honest, no one knew the synopsises are all like nothing. And I don't really care what the film's about. It's won the Palme d'Or. Everyone says it's great. The fact that the director's, just such an interesting person, I think it's just a very interesting film. I don't really need to know what it's about, to be completely honest. I'm just like, it won the show, it won this, ticks a lot of boxes. I'll watch it. I don't even need to see a trailer. If you put it in front of me now, I'll watch it, I'm keen.
Okay. My number one is one that I picked. Is mine. It's a Sentimental Value, directed by Joachim Trier, starring Renate Redzepi, who obviously collaborated on Worst Person in the World. And this film is about a woman whose mother dies, and her estranged father hires her to be in an autobiographical Netflix series about his life to try and reconnect, is what I've heard. Played by Stellan Skarsgård. And we all love Stellan Skarsgård, so wild concept, but seems like it'll be a very interesting time. So it came second in the show. So yeah, another good pedigree film. So yeah, that's my number one. Any other films from Cannes that really got your attention?
Not really, to be honest. I do think it was funny how much I can't remember her name now, but the Titan director's her film was getting fucking panned
After a ridiculously long applause.
Yeah, but then all the reviews were like, "This film's trash."
Yeah, I mean that happens sometimes.
Yeah,
I had an article today about The Longest.
Well, what film got 19 minutes again? One of them got. It's very weird. How do you feel about the clapping thing? Because I think it's weird, to be honest.
I don't know.
They treat it like it's because you do that
litmus
like
test?
a play, like a like you do like long standing ovations when people come out and they bow, come back out, and whatever. But like it's film, like they're in the crowd and it's weird. There's that video I saw of Kristen Stewart. She was like standing there as everyone's cheering, and the look on her face was like, you could tell she was just like, what the fuck do I do? Like, cool. Thanks. I guess I'd be that one. Like everyone said her first. Everyone said her first, her directorial debut, and everyone's Scarlett Johansson's both have been getting at least decent.
That one
reviews,
and Harris Dickinson's as well.
Yeah, they've all been getting. Yeah, so all of those would probably be the only ones I would go. I'm keen to watch all those, of course.
Okay, so I had a quick look at the article. It hasn't been updated for this year, but there is a film that got 22-minute standing ovation.
That's ridiculous. Like,
do you want to guess?
So sore.
It's from a pretty famous director who has won Academy Awards.
No idea.
I believe he's a Mexican director.
Alfonso Cuarón?
Nope.
Robert Rodriguez?
Nope. He's won Best Picture, and he's won Best Animated Film.
Guillermo del Toro?
Yes. Which film do you think it was?
Pinocchio?
No.
Shape of Water?
No.
Hellboy 2? Fuck, I'm trying to remember his movie's name now. When did it come out?
I mean, I think it was early 2000s. It's one of his early ones.
Oh, Pan's Labyrinth?
Yes. 22 minutes.
Wow.
You'll never guess what number 2 is on this list.
No, I probably did. I don't.
Oh, well, maybe Fahrenheit 9/11 got just 20-minute ovation, which is funny when you think it's
I mean,
in French, in France.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess like when that came out too. That was like the height of that. Like, I guess people would be like really engaged politically for that particular subject matter too. Yeah. I guess would have been the thing. So, yeah.
The number for 18 minutes. Mud, starting Matthew McConaughey.
Sure.
I don't
get that. I think they should just And I hate all the articles too. It becomes like a weird thing. It'll be like, and that to the point of what you're just saying is like, oh, your film got like a 10-minute standing ovation, and then the reviews come out, and everyone's like, it's shit. I'm like, why? Like, what? Okay, got a standing ovation. Cool. What's it mean? Nothing.
Nothing. It just means that they didn't know when to stop clapping.
Mm.
It just, somebody just started up again when they thought it was dying out. The Crunchyroll Awards took place this last weekend. I'll just run through a couple of key winners. Anime of the year. Do you want to pick?
I want to go back and watch it.
Do you know what won anime of the year?
Yeah, it was fucking Aliens versus Monsters.
No.
Didn't it?
It was Solo Leveling.
Sorry. Yeah. Why did I say that?
Best anime song went to Creepy Nuts for Dun Dun.
That's what I was thinking.
On Tonoke.
That's what. Yeah.
Film of the year went to Look Back, which was the 45-minute short about like one kid teaching another kid how to draw manga.
Mm-hmm. You still want to watch it?
Which is crazy, beating out those other films. Best original anime went to Ninja Kamui. Best continuing anime series went to Demon Slayer. Best new series went to Solo Leveling, which is...
It was his first season.
I guess it was for a first season.
It was still his first season, yeah.
What other interesting categories are? Best action anime went to Solo Leveling. Best comedy anime went to Mashal Magic and Muscles. Best drama anime went to Frieren Beyond Journey's End. Best isekai anime went to RE0 Starting Life in Another World Season 3. Best romance anime went to Blue Box. Best slice of life anime went to Machine, Too Many Losing Heroines. Best animation went to Demon Slayer. Yeah. Lots of good anime out there that Dylan refuses to watch because he hates anime. You're like, I'm going to watch Solo Leveling. I really enjoyed the film that I saw. Didn't watch any of it. I really enjoyed Windbreaker last season. It's been like 5-6 episodes already out. Season 2. Haven't watched any of it.
You take my lack of watching for lack
Disdain.
of care and instead of just lack of time. Yeah.
Did you have like a whole week off the other week? How much
I
anime
did.
did you watch during that week?
None.
Goose egg. All right, let's talk about some...
You're a fucking goose egg. You know what I'm going to watch? There's a Dan to Dan movie coming out, but they're just doing the same shit that is approved for the success story, where it's just 45 minutes of recap shit, and then they're going to do like the
set
first
up the next
2-3
episodes.
episodes. Fuck it. You get to see the first 2-3 episodes on a big screen.
Will they do the intro on the big screen? This one, I don't know.
That's worth.
Will the cinema be filled with that song? Are they getting the opening?
I think that's the price for admission if you get to see the opening on the big screen.
Yeah. Let's move into giving some thumbs to trailers. Of course, you can find all the trailers we're about to talk about in the show notes below. Kicking things off, we've got It. Welcome to Derry. Developed by Andy Muschietti, Barbara Muschietti, and Jason Fuchs. Starring Jovan Adipo, Chris Chalk, Taylor Page, James Remar, Stephen Ryder, Bill Skarsgård. It will follow the events in the 1960s, the time leading up to the events of the first film in the Stephen King It series. Dylan, what do you think of this teaser trailer for the upcoming It prequel?
I'm gonna go one down. It looks like an It movie or an It TV show. But like I don't see a lot that made it stand out apart from the films at this point, which is sort of hard, I guess, to do in a trailer. But also, it didn't look like it was separating itself either. I guess that's going to be my thing. Like I'm the thing with this show to me is it's like I don't really need it to do anything crazy. I just like if it's a miniseries where at least the characters were interesting and it was, they all die by then I'm like, oh, at least the characters. But yeah, I don't know what. It's just it's an interesting proposition, I guess. I mean, we get Bill Skarsgård back as Pennywise at least, which they tease right at the end of the teaser. But it made me want to rewatch the movie. Is that
Yeah, I'll give one up, one down. I mean, it looks fine. Like, obviously, I've got no interest in watching it at all.
You hate clowns.
Yeah, well, there's barely any clowns in this at all, you know. So just a bunch of other scary stuff. You know, yeah, I know it's kind of weird to be making a show where you know that they're not going to win.
Well, the thing
You
is,
assume
like,
they're not gonna win.
technically they could win because you can't kill the entity that is it. Like, it just comes. The thing is, with, like, they explain in the lore of the the book and the TV show and the original TV movie and the other movie, it's like he comes back. They change the wording or years or whatever, but it's like roughly every 27 years or 30 years, I think they say in the other movie. But like, even if you kill him, he's just going to come back anyway. I don't like, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it did a solid job.
That's why they in the, how in the movie there's two parts, right?
Yes,
In the first part,
it's a time jump. Yeah.
they're kids. 27 years later, they're adults, but Pennywise comes back again. So they think they beat him when they're
But he
kids.
can never die.
Yeah, but he comes back. That's the whole. Yeah.
Okay. Welcome to Derry is coming to HBO Max later this year.
No.
Late 2025.
Oh, sorry. No, you're right. HBO Max. Sorry. So I went to correct you and say Max. Fuck me.
Yeah, fuck you. The next trailer is for The Waterfront, created by Kevin Williamson, starring Holt McCallany, Maria Bello, Melissa Benoist, Jake Weary, Rafael L. Silva, Humberly Gonzalez, Danielle Campbell, and Brady Hempner. As their storied North Carolina fishing empire decays, the damaged Buckleys grapple to revive their imperiled maritime heritage. Dylan, you're a big Kevin Williamson fan. What do you think of the trailer for his new series?
Yeah, I'm gonna double thumbs up. I like the cast, I like the vibes, like the I like this. Weirdly, it shouldn't seem like an area I actually like watching about because it's not somewhere I'd like to live. But I love this American fucking boat town rurally sort of area shit for some reason. But yeah, I mean, it looks intriguing to me. We just get Holt McCallany doing Holt McCallany things, which is, I mean, to be honest, that's sort of all I need him to do. So, and then Melissa Benoist. So, good to see her. And so I feel like I haven't seen her in anything for
not since
fucking
Supergirl
ages, to
ended.
be honest. Yeah, not since. I don't feel like I've seen her in anything for ages. So, or at least not. I think the last thing I saw her in was actually Clerks 3. To be honest. So, yeah, I'm keen. Basically, I'm going to be honest. The trailer starts, Colt McCallany's in it, punches that dude in the face.
His son.
Yeah. And I went, and then later he's like, don't apologize. Like, with his accent, whatever. I'm like, I'm in.
All right. I'll give one up, one down. It just feels a little bit like stuff I've seen recently, The setting feels very Outer Banks, and then, the drug things, it's not very original and that kind of stuff. Like, they're falling on hard times, so let's turn to drugs. Kind of stuff. I enjoyed the Topher Grace cameo. But yeah, wait and see. So, yes, The Waterfront is coming to Netflix on the 19th of June. Next trailer is for K-pop Demon Hunters, directed by Maggie Kang and Chris Applehans. Starring Arden Cho, An Ho-seop, Mei Hong, Ji Young Yu, Yoon Jin Kim, Daniel Dae Kim, Ken Jeong, and Byung Hoon Lee. When they aren't selling out stadiums, K-pop superstars Rumi, Mira, and Zoe use their secret identities as badass demon hunters to protect their fans from an ever-present supernatural threat. Together, they must face their biggest enemy yet, an irresistible rival boy band of demons in disguise. Dylan, what do you think of the trailer for K-pop Demon Hunters?
I'm going one up, one down. I think the show looks very cool and everything, but I'm just going to go for the trailer. It seemed to go for
movie.
Way too long. Oh, it was a movie. Even worse. Way too long. And then, but there was a point where I was like, fucking, how long is this trailer going? And I put my mouse over the thing. It was like 2 minutes 42 or something like that. I was like, this seems very long. This is a long fucking. Just that's my basis. If it reached that point in the trailer, I'm like, I'm seeing too much. You show me the whole fucking thing. Like I just reached that stage. But I think the animation looks really cool. I think the whole story is just the concept's wild, but will be. Let's be real. It's hitting a lot of current things that people like. So, yeah, I'm sure I'd be keen to watch it. I think.
There's 2 thumbs up for me. Hitting all the vibes. I enjoyed the gag of the demons all mean looking and that kind of stuff. And they're like, we need to take a different approach. Smash cut to boy band. Yeah, I'm getting definite like Mitchell's versus the Machines vibes. Like even the animation is kind of like kind of got elements of that film, which was fantastic. Obviously similar story of like this film that Sony Pictures have been working on getting sold to Netflix. Yeah, I know this film's been in the works for a while. Like I've seen it on the list of Sony films, animated films. So looks really good. Keen to check it out. Yeah, just the psychoticness of it. It just looks like it'll be a really fun fever dream. So yeah, K-pop Demon Hunters is coming to Netflix 20th of June. Next trailer is for Helen Harper, created by Cooper Rafe, starring Mark Ruffalo, Lily Reinhart, Cooper Rafe, Betty Gilpin, Addison Timlin, Havana Rose Liu, and Alia Chanel Scott. Helen Harper are codependent siblings, doing their best to navigate long-term relationships, friendships, and situationships. When their dad makes a big announcement, the two are forced to consider the current state of their lives and their complicated childhood. Don, what do you think of the trailer for Helen Harper?
You watched Cha Cha Real Smooth, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
You liked it?
I did.
I haven't watched it, but I liked Shithouse.
I also watched Shithouse and really enjoyed that too.
Looks like another Cooper Rafe joint. This does.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for that, double thumbs up. Okay.
Yeah, double thumbs up for exact same reasons. Obviously, the supporting cast around him in this one is really good as well. It looks like it'll be a fun time. There's also, some ridiculousness to it as well. Like, I believe they cut to scenes where they're portraying themselves as young kids, even though they're obviously much older. So yeah, I'm pretty keen for this one. Like, yeah, he's just on my wavelength,
I feel like Cooper Wraith and Lily Reinhart and the thing. I can see that, and that seems like like if that was his next thing, I'd be like, yeah, that doesn't seem too well. But when you're like, it's Mark Ruffalo and Betty Gilpin are in this as well, I'm like, fucking, you really stepped up, my boy. Like,
wow, shady Dakota Johnson.
Yeah, that's fair.
So yeah, Helen Harper is coming to Stan on the 26th of June. Last trailer for this week, Caught Stealing, directed by Darren Aronofsky, starring Austin Butler, Regina King, Zoe Kravitz, Matt Smith, Liev Schreiber, Vincent D'Onofrio, Carol Kane, and Bad Bunny. A former baseball player finds himself immersed in the criminal underworld of New York in the 1990s. Dylan, what do you think of the trailer for Caught Stealing?
Yeah, double thumbs up. I love this. I reckon it looks fantastic and such a wild time. I have no idea how this is Darren Aronofsky film, but here we are. Matt Smith is he's a special boy.
Yep.
That's how I feel about this. But otherwise, it looks like 100% the type of shit that I usually enjoy. And even if I walk away from this going, man, that's like a 6 out of 10, but I had a great time. That's not bad to me.
Yeah, I'll give this 2 thumbs up. It looks really fantastic. It is very surprising this is from Aronofsky because it is very much not his vibe. But maybe he's leaning into some good times for once. Not all the depressing shit. Matt Smith looks incredible. Austin Butler looks pretty cool. Zoe Kravitz looks great.
When doesn't she?
That's true. Just wait till you see the last episodes of The Studio.
I've seen it.
Yeah. As herself. It's great. Yeah, I mean, great casts, great ensemble. Looks like a fun, quirky comedy, which you wouldn't expect from Aronofsky. So, And looks really well shot and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, very, very keen. This
Matt
one,
Smith's like, I listen to the Sex Pistols, man. Like,
I feel like I've seen him with that same get up somewhere else
I don't know, Shy, but
in another film, like
Mm.
maybe like completely shaved head, maybe without no mohawk.
I appreciate his willingness just to do
Commit.
nearly whatever.
His commitment to stuff.
Yeah.
Caught Stealing is coming to cinemas on the 28th of August. Dylan, this week, what do you want to watch?
Fuck's sake. It's like, I just don't know how I forget every fucking episode. I don't, like, it's, I just don't know how I do it. I don't know how I forget every week. Please hold. I'll try and think if, on top of my head, if there's something, am I forgetting something obvious? But hold on. Oh, that's what the fuck? That's not real, is it? This is the Phoenician scheme. episode.
Phoenician Scheme? I
Phoenician
believe so.
scheme. Oh, well, that's the pick then, isn't it?
Yeah.
I did not realize that was out as soon as it was. And then TV wise, well, what's the TV wise? Let's go. There's either that or maybe that's all. Fuck you when you're editing. Mountain Head or whatever it's called, I guess.
Yes, Mountainhead. That's another film, but
That's a film.
yeah, it's a
Oh,
it's
man.
a streaming film, but
I thought it was a TV series.
no.
In TV shows, then I fucking don't know.
All right. Yeah, those are the two movies that I was keen to watch this week. On the TV front, there is a comedy series that I'm pretty sure coming to Disney Plus called Adults, about a bunch of young codependent housemates who aren't really adults. I watched the trailer for that. That's pretty cool. And then there's also a HBO Max documentary series that's starting this week called The Mortician, that follows a funeral home led by David Sconce as they betray public trust, exploiting families and deceased for maximizing profits, including holding mass cremations, mutilating corpses, and hiring hitmen for rival morticians.
Hell yeah.
So that's running for 3 weeks. So I'd be keen to check that out. Because that seems like a wild story. All right, let us know what you want to watch this week. Or why are people wrong about Lilo and Stitch by letting us know on Blue Sky at explosionnetwork.com or find us on other social media at ExplosionPod. If you want to help us out here at What Do You Want to Watch, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and Porche Stud. Leave us 5 stars and leave 5 stars, or just tell people about the show. And if you've enjoyed this episode, floors worth $1, head on over to our Ko-fi page at explosionnetwork.com/supports. Thank you very much for listening. Until next time, keep watching stuff, I guess.